How you going, guys? This is Rob Stanson, TISP Research and Development. Hey, here's what I did. I got a place right here. I don't know if you can see the place. It's about, I don't know, a foot and a half above the ground, and so I'm not able to get like this asphalt right here to where I can ground. I mean, I can walk barefoot on this and be grounded to the earth, and it will save me a lot of distress and stuff like that. Here's what I bought. I bought it a long time ago. It's supposed to be brass for armor and stuff, but the guy wound up pulling out some copper, and I paid a heavy price for that. It's gonna be a long video, so hold on, and you enjoy every minute of it because it's good knowledge. Here's a copper plate that I got right here. You see that right there? It's 36 by 46 inches. What I did was I drilled holes where I'm going to put my ground wires at. I'm going to normally, like a bed, I would do 4 corners and then do the sides, but to a spring mattress. But if you got a foam mattress, I mean, you kind of screwed yourself, because foam mattresses, if the only place to ground them is on top, and put at least like a plate like this, or sheets, nice good thick sheets, like for freaking 14 gauge, and it's expensive, and you put it on top, but you got to put it on a wood board, and then put it on top of the foam mattress. But you could put something like this in the foam mattress underneath, but it doesn't ground as good. You wind up getting hit, and then it kind of bleeds off, but it's such a far gap and a thick cushion that it kind of freaking slows down the grounding that you really need, because you need to really be touching ground, like barefoot, bare hands to copper, and it has to be grounded to the wall. So here's that sheet right there. I'm gonna go in here. I got my wire, and I'm gonna put my plugs in. B, wanna come in? The dog I'm staying with right here. Come on, B. Here's the armor of God and all. This is that helmet, I'm telling you. I mean, this helmet will, let me see if I get a good shot. There we go. Yeah, this helmet will pull you out of the targeting, and dang, everything sticks to it. It'll pull you out of the targeting, and you can at least get your life back. And plus, on top of that, all the little bullshit you have to deal with on a daily basis as a target individual, it alleviate it. Go on, get. And it alleviate it to where all you have to deal with is like fucking V2K at night. You sleep with it at night. You wear it sometimes during the day. I mean, I'm telling you, the 3 to 6 months you should be feeling super good and pulled out of it. 3 years, you're freaking totally healed. That's just through my journey, because I started out with a lighter magnet. With less power, it was 9 pounds pull. This one right here is 14 pounds pull per square inch, and it's really strong. I mean, I could plug this right here to a lamp, and see I could stick to anything, and it won't fall off. And I put it in reverse polarity. But here's what I got here. I got these mail plugs from Harbor Freight. You can get these for about, I don't know, 2 something and stuff. It's pretty cheap. And then of course, here, like 100 feet of copper wire, which is 14 gauge. See, I had whatever's left here, and I don't got a far distance, but I'm going to use the rest of this copper wire and cut it in half, and that way I can connect 2 sides. It's unfortunate that this place that I'm living at is there's only one plug that the ground connection works. Another one says neutral, which is not good. The other ones are just two prong. Man, I mean, I'm really almost. It feels like I'm. Normally, it would be for me hanging on the wire because I come from a totally grounded bed. It turned into a Faraday cage with 6 points grounded on the bed. It was a foam mattress. I put it on top, and and I had grounding mats like I do over here, and I can remove them. And what I'm going to do is put this plate right here down on the bottom floor because unfortunately this is a foam mattress that I'm laying on here. I got grounding underneath it, but it's not working out. And I'm telling you the truth, freaking, if someone sleeps right next to me, they're not going to want to sleep on a copper mat or anything, or it's uncomfortable, and it's only good for a twin bed if you're just a single dude. I wanted to also touch base before I get connected. You guys seen that movie, Better Call Sal? Well, and his brother Chuck. His brother Chuck was sensitive to electromagnetic and ultraviolet rays and electricity. And all that guy had to do is ground his floor, walk barefoot. And the guy had a floor layout, and the mylar, all that crap, it don't work. It may block like very little bit of whatever's going in the air, but if you're trying to block from your targeting from the drone stars above, then you must go hardcore. And you have to actually have foot to a ground copper plate or ground copper sheet, that's just made up on a thing. If that guy had a helmet, he would be cleared from his light targeting. I mean, very light targeting that he was dealing with, and then and it's funny how they kind of from Better Call Sal that they accommodated for him, in the courtroom and all, and it's like, wow, really. There's a lot of TIs that go through that, and there's a lot of TIs that go through that extreme shit. I'm telling you, if excuse my language, if you got that helmet right here and you healed, you wouldn't have to deal with that. Cell phones, you wouldn't feel it. Freaking Wi-Fi, you won't feel it. Cell towers, you won't feel it. And it's very light. It's minute. It's people don't understand is that everyone in the world is a target. Everyone. It depends on your sins. It depends on your if they don't like you. It depends on if you're a whistleblower or if they put you in a program because you're a Republican or you're a gun owner, or you're just someone that has a criminal background, or you bump into one of these people on the streets, or you bump into them in an apartment complex, and they decide to ruin your life, or at least stem it off to make it feel like it just started now. But honestly, it's probably started from the beginning of your birth, which is everyone is, because those drone stars are there to depopulate, throughout time. So that way we don't grow as old as 200 years, or as the way as Moses times, or back in the Sumerian times, Inky and what's before that whatever. It was pretty sad how that show went. I mean, that guy could have went to the mental hospital. If you go to a hospital, do not talk about your targeting. Do not talk about this and that. You're just gonna have to bear through it. You'll survive, but you bear through it. I a couple times what I call it, because I'm prior military, special forces, is that I would call it an emergency evac. Like there were flashing freaking these strobe lighting, bright lights in my eyes, and really affecting my body and really taking a toll. And I took a mirror and I was flashing it back at him. I even flashed it at the neighbors, and his curtains were all flapping around and stuff like that. He was getting jacked up. And seriously, because I think he had an autism, or he was handicapped and a little bit mental or whatever, and so they're automatically already sensitive. I didn't know. I thought he was perping me. I didn't know. I didn't know. I thought my neighbors were perping me at the time, and I took that mirror and I flung it over to the through their window and stuff, and I can see it through my connection, my eyes, and see that hard bearing light, and I just flashed it right inside because I could tell the guy was outside, so he knew something was going on because he's heightened. Anybody with handicaps or is like that are not retarded, but geez, what's that? Sutton syndrome. Anyways, they can sense this stuff. I mean, I see one guy. He had I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, geez. Anyways, but you know how they get the same faces. Anyways, but he was pointing up, and he was like, "Take off your mask. Take off your mask," because he could see what's above as well. That was watching me, and he noticed that, and his family's just all just had no clue, had no idea. He had Down syndrome. I'm sorry, and the family had no idea, but he knew. Oh, he knew. He saw them. He saw what I saw. And he was like, "Take off your mask." There's a song that Sepultura plays, heavy metal, and Sepultura sings the song, "Take off your mask," and it says, and it starts singing, "Die behind your masks, die behind your masks." And so they act like, sometimes they show visions, and that they're in these little jets, and sitting around with a pilot mask and stuff, with goggles and stuff, and they target you. That's how they hide, is by showing these projections and stuff like that. But anyways, I just found it. At least it was good that that show Better Call Sal was at least addressing those type of problems, so people can have understanding. That's good and all, but the sad thing is that nobody really know what's to do, other than trying that Mylar. That Mylar, that blanket, that winter blanket, that cold air blanket. It's one side is conductive, the other side is not. So if you have a conductive side out, then maybe it should work a little bit, just from the natural, well, not natural, but Wi-Fi towers, cell phones, and yada, yada, yada. Maybe that blocks that a little bit. The paint, even if you try the paint, I think it very blocks, very nil of the stuff that's being read. See, what you guys don't understand, TIs don't understand, is that frequencies are not read on that spectrum. Why? Because frequencies turn to electromagnetic, and electromagnetic creates a microwave as well, and through these high speed frequencies that turn into microwaves and turn into electromagnetic spectrum and energy, that it from that high speed, it turns into that, and anything that turns into a magnet, with the frequencies, it's always positive, never negative. And that's why my magnets on my helmets are always positive out and positive in, and reverse polarity negative. All right, anyways, I think I talked about that. That brother really freaking, I mean, pissed me off, and it's pretty sad that, I mean, the information's out there that I put out there, so I'm cutting it in half. Let's see if I can get that a little better angle. And see, I take one of these right here and some side cutters to cut the wire, and I mean, you can get the other ones, but the thing is that when you cut them, and then this one, I'll make as thick as as far as the about that far for this nail plug replacement. That way, spin these real quick. This is kind of really thick wire. I wish it was more flexible, but it's the thickest that you can get that works really well. These things split it really quick. This is all you want for the plug-in. And I'll take this, and that'll fit right there. Take these apart. Let me see if I can do this fast enough. If not, I'll stitch the video together, and that way you guys can see, because it just seems like you guys need to see hands-on. I went to my doctor's today, and this guy, I mean, just so he can bleed my insurance dry, you know, and get a little extra cash, because I told him I just need them for my prescriptions, and I wanted to do the video chats where I could get my prescriptions, because I take methylphenidate, and which is an ADH medication, but it's an extreme one, and it really helps me through my targeting. And then I'll take this, but that stuff really helps. Take these screws out, and then you see those the positive and neutral. You gotta bang those out. I mean, you don't have to, but I usually do. It's only brass, it's not copper, so you're not going to get any money out of that. And I open that baby up. Got it. Alright, take that all the way down as much as you can. And you just take this thing, make sure you get the right one. What would he look like almost 20 years later? The John List murder case would now enter the highly specialized world of forensic sculpting. I could wrap it around, but it would take a long time. But if you get a good bite on it, cinch it down. It's hard to hold at the same time, but you can tighten that really good. See, it's really good, and then you extra clamp it. Right there. Put the screws in. Like I said, Harbor Freight sells these for really cheap, and I mean, I buy a lot of them because I constantly am grounding shit. Excuse my language, grounding stuff. Tighten it down. Now this is for that plate. I'll bring that down. See, when you ground, it's like half the battle. You know, when you're grounding, because we're an energy source, you know, we're made of energy, or we have an electrical system in our bodies, and here's what'll prove it. You know, when you ever seen everything you see about a person that has a heart attack, they always grab their left shoulder, right? Well, the left side is closest to your heart. So we're electrical systems, and they of course they're the killers, and they're the ones that you will see at the end of your death. I'm telling you, it's the all-seeing eye, and they're really they're depopulating. You know, I mean the world's gone has gone crooked, and people just ain't very great people these days. You know, and you got politicians that are freaking burying us, and then you got Muslims that are doing what what Allah says and stuff like that, and blowing up World Trade Centers, and Americans just go, you know, and they attack people and then try to claim that's what they're doing, and honesty and all honesty is that they just mind controlled those those Muslims, and programmed them and gave them an open door to be able to get on those planes, and freaking thinking that it's Allah, and thinking it's a good idea, and they give them leeway so they can start security around the world and create an industry of security, and making America the security freaking country, you know, and everybody's freaking selling out to the global warming idea, you know, just because movie stars say, you know, oh, global warming, this and that here, is bullshit. It's all been the same. The only thing that's been doing is the chemtrails have been drying out the earth, drying out our brains. Oh, shit. Violet! Come here! Violet! Come here! Violet! Violet! Come here! I gotta take that dog in. Well, how many times? We got 22 minutes. I gotta pull that dog in. Violet! That dog don't listen to me no more.
Bender also took into account genetics. He looked at photographs of John List's parents and added sagging jowls and a receding hairline to the bust. List had a surgical scar behind his right ear, and Bender researched how the scar would look as he aged. With the fiberglass bust complete, Bender painted the skin and hair, and put List in a suit and tie.
I got forensic files on. I sleep with it, so that way I hear something and I don't have voices distracting me at night. That's the only thing I gotta deal with. Other than that, freaking if I talk shit, they'll target me, or you know, if I freaking pay attention to them, they target me. Freaking it's just best to really, like, you go mind blank, and you don't think as much. So if you can go mind blank and I don't know, watch some TV while you're relaxing, or do some things, and keep your mind steady from racing or monkey mind. And that's why a lot of people go to meditation, is because it calms down their mind, because they attack you because they're tired of listening to your mind thinking. Alright, I'm almost done with this. Alright, that's good. So I can go out there and beat that dog. Just kidding.
Oldest we've ever pursued on America's Most Wanted. On Sunday night, May 21st, 1989, America's Most Wanted aired the episode on
There. I'm gonna ground two sides of it because I had to tree out my grounding connection because I only got one plug. I mean, that's coming from all over there, and it wraps around the room to this side over here. It's grounding the bed. It's grounding these mats. It's freaking grounding everything I can plug into and tree off to, the connections like this or whatever. You know what I mean? And trying to make do with what I got to work with, because I'm in a place that's a little higher than ground floor, so it takes a little bit longer to ground to the earth, and it doesn't work. We got to be touching it. I mean, literally touching it. I'll take this wire right here, and I want to wrap it a few times. So let's see. I'm gonna go right here and then skip up that. There we go. Yeah. Do the same thing. See how nice it is? The steps, it does it for you, because try trying it with the other kind of strippers that you can buy. You got to pull it, or split it with the wire. And I'll take this and go with the grain. Tighten them up pretty good. I mean, you could solder these tips, which is I would, but I don't know where my soldering gun is. Freaking starting all over again. So I got a soldering gun, but you got to have 10, and if you don't got 10, it burns out your tip. Let's see here. Got a loose one. Doesn't really matter, just as long as you can get a couple wraps on it, 27, I'm almost there. What are you doing, Parker? Get inside. Get in. Hey, no. Get in. In. Alright, so I'm going to take these prongs here. Set you up. It's not as grounded. There we go. Alright, so this is going to go in there deep. So I'll take this, plug it through the hole, make sure you leave enough right here. I don't know if you can see that. And then wrap it. Wrap it about good 2 times. Spin it. And there you go. It's not that sharp. You could take some duct tape, some good heavy-duty duct tape, and then put it on top of this to cover it. Or if you solder it, it'll take that sharp little pointy edges away from stabbing you. But this is the part that's going to go underneath the bed. So here's one. This is what you people got to do. You got to ground yourselves. I mean, literally, don't buy that crap you buy on eBay or what is it? That targeted website that freaking where you can buy materials and stuff like less EMF. Those are just, come on. We are dealing with a bigger monster than just freaking than just microwaves from a cell phone tower or your cell phone or Wi-Fi. Put that in there, and bam, there we go. This big ass copper sheet. I mean, it is a little overboard, but if you get something like this or similar, you can lay it on your floor. You can lay it on you can lay it on your bed, and I mean, this much copper, and if it's heavily grounded in 6 points or 4 points, that energy is gonna go straight to there and pass through your body like nothing, and it'll be good. And I'm gonna put this in that section because I like to be on the floor ground level, because a lot of those energies are bed level. Um, and that's pretty much about it. I'm gonna leave this out here for now, and then I'll put this in my bed here or in my bed area on the floor here in a minute. It sucks. I had a nice grounded bed. I don't know if you guys seen it. I showed it plenty of times, and it's been it was like a better than a Faraday cage. I mean, it was better than a Faraday cage, you know. And I wear my armor at night, usually during the day until about 6 o'clock. I start wearing my armor so I can shield my heart and everything else. I'll probably set this up. But yeah, today they hooked me up to an EKG machine. Freaking, I'm sitting there without my helmet and glasses and stuff. I don't really worry about it because they really got to do a lot to catch up to the damage, to damage me enough to where I can actually be affected. My armor has been a godsend. When I tell you, people, it's the armor of God, it's armor of God, it's armor of God, you know. I'm telling you, freaking, I worked through it, I tested it. I mean, I pissed these people off where they try to kill me several times, and this last one where they try to get a cop to freaking taser me until I flatlined, and then they taser me back to come back alive. What a bunch of assholes, you know. But they dropped the charges, so you know. I mean, you know, I'm just testing, shielding for the community, the TI targeted individual community, and really trying to bring them some shielding that they will know that works and will trust it, and it will never fail on them. I did convert my. I haven't got them yet because my radiation glass that's at least about a half inch or a little bit more, what you need for an earplug to make for your earbuds, and they're just like earplugs, and these step ones they're falling apart. I'm always having to epoxy them, and it's been a very big headache, and so I'm trying to get solid glass. Luckily, I found some pair, but it's in the Ukraine, and they're having a hard time shipping it because of the war. Awesome. So I tried to order from some other place, and then their machine broke. Awesome. And the only other place is from China, and that's about $700 some odd for a small piece, for like a piece the size of a cell phone, a big cell phone. So I mean, it's actually worth it, because if you're dealing with earplugs that are falling apart all the time, then you're always fixing them, and then that just leaves your ears open for them to get in there and target you, because it takes a while, at least a couple months, till the wax drains out, and next you know the V2K is no longer interior in your brain, where you can feel it inside your head, but it's exterior, and you can hear the voices outside in the sky. And that's the big change with that. And it protects you from that radiation that's going in your ear and causing damage to your ocular nerves and your brain. So that's a plus right there. I don't know when I'm going to get that from Ukraine. I think I'm going to have to spend about $700 on a piece of radiation glass from China, 20 millimeters. You know, that's almost a half an inch, I think. And I'll recheck it, but I mean, I just can't be repairing these all the time. You know, what if I'm abroad, or what if, you know, I'm not home and I gotta fix it? You know, I only got like two extra ones, and two different extra ones, and the rest of them, I mean, I went through them because they kept on falling out. These ones are connected to my earrings, and so right there it falls out, and boop, it ain't going nowhere. But I lost about 4 or 5 pair on that last stint where I was fighting them, and they got me all hemmed up and arrested. if you guys are going through what, just call Sal, just the way Chuck was going through that, his targeting, which it is targeting. It may not feel like because he doesn't feel the direction because he's hypersensitive. When you're hypersensitive, you can't feel what direction it's coming from. Um, you're just sensitive to every little thing and noises, sounds, helicopters, fire engines, fire department, police department, and it may feel like everybody's targeting you and everybody's turning on these sirens and construction, etc., 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 going on, and it's freaking just in your brain, and you're like getting beat up because of that, because your ears are not shielded, and it's just, and your brain is sensitive from damage from the heightenedness that they give you from damaging your brain through targeting and hitting it with electromagnetic and frequencies, and pulling your brain and doing all kinds of stuff to mind control you, etc., etc., and doing damage, and heightens you up to where your third eye's open, and next you could tell the future and everything else if you were healed. But the thing about my shielding is that it will heal you, that your so-called powers or whatever of predicting things and awoken or whatever starts to go away. But you'll still be heightened, but it's clean, and you're still dumb as you used to be. But if you're really heightened and you're fighting them, and you take a little opioids or some drugs or whatever, and then they heighten you from targeting you, that's when you start getting like freaking the omega feeling, and and you feel powerful, and you're like a demigod and stuff like that. But that's only then. But you have to be hit hard, and you have to be hit so hard that if you weren't wearing armor, you're gonna die. I mean, I'm telling you, I went through a lot of shit, just to bring you guys shielding, and to fight these guys. I mean, I was doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, I can actually pull the chemtrail blanket from the sky because I was an energy source, and I was so empowered that I can actually pull things and then make the stars spin a little bit, by flicking them or whatever, doing things outside, and the empowerment that it gives you, and that godlike feeling, it's enormous. I mean, it's epic. But they will kill you, or they'll be pissed off to where I don't really talk about too much of the whole game, but it's just enough to piss them off. And at this point, I don't think they really care because they're depopulating anyways, and they're trying to break down the numbers. And if you're a target, their wish list is you. You know what I mean? Let me see, anything else. Yeah, cell phones really don't give off anything to so you can really feel it unless you're really sensitive and stuff. Maybe it might, but it's not doing a whole lot of damage. Everything around you is enough to heighten you a little bit, but it's from their targeting, which is they target everyone in the world, and because what they do is they have to bring down the numbers. It's their job. I mean, those are the last people. That's why Metallica goes, you look in the sky, and the last time you will. Just before you die. I don't know if you guys remember that from Metallica, but anyways, if I can remember the dang song. But yeah, get yourself a roll of that. I mean, it's like $36 of the copper wire. These plugins are like about a couple bucks from Harbor Freight, and you could take the wires and ground your bed. Just plug them into your spring mattress and your spring box spring underneath, and don't get foam. If you got a foam, I'd say switch it out, get some springs, and ground it, and it'd be like Cloud 9, and it's epic. I mean, I'm gonna change it too as well, but I'm not planning on staying here that long. But I know that I'm getting Extreme again because being heightened to that level that I was before is addictive. It's empowering, and it's I mean, it's better than drugs. I mean, you get heightened. I mean, you get a little bit beat up, and it just, I mean, it depends on how you sleep. But I mean, I slept good. But I mean, you could sleep till like 2 o'clock though. But or some days at 12 or whatever. But the empowerment is freaking epic. It's that powerful. I mean, where you can actually use the sky as your computer board and be able to pull things. You got to be heightened big time. I mean, big time. I mean, my whole body always felt energized and empowered. My body parts were healing because of metaphysical healing on my armor, and it covered my chakras because they say your chakras will be empowered, but the thing is that they're not letting people get empowered by letting their chakras align properly. So nobody actually gets really heightened to an extreme level unless you shield it like I did, and that's where you get your empowerment. I usually cover my root all the way down to my crown, and that everything's covered, and it creates a freaking energy force like a powerhouse, and it builds up energy, and you're extreme. I mean, you're extreme energy. I mean, just imagine what you can do, and I mean, almost like a superhero. I mean, but see, the thing is that only you can see. I mean, someone else may see the star move, or spin around whenever I fuck with them. But, excuse my language. I mean, that takes some time, a lot of practice, and it takes uh, uh, a lot of pissing off from the all-seeing eye and the Angerman, Lucifer, the Morning Star, Star of David, the Light Bearer. And that's it's all the same thing. That's what the Masons are trying to hide. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope that was good for you guys. I mean, you can get a small sheet. I mean, geez, I put the other one away, but look at, I mean, see how thin that is? That's probably like 24 gauge, 20 gauge. And you can flatten it out, hammer out the ends, and put it on the floor. As long as your feet are barefoot touching it. If you're on a second floor, do it. If you're ground floor, you should be fine, but I always had copper ground mats anyways, because if you got a good grounded house, that energy flows away from you. Big time, even if they're targeting your heart. All right, guys. TISP Research Development, Rob Stanson. Peace out.